Welcome to Solo Travel Adventures, my sisters. Don't let fear hold you back from traveling alone. I want you to gather your courage, listen to inspiring stories, and learn how to travel solo while safely navigating new places from this show. I'm Cheryl Esch, solo travel advocate and travel coach, and I want you to have a transformative experience when you travel solo. So pack your bags, book your flight, and check one more time for that passport. It's time to explore the world. Hey, my sister travelers. Are you one of those people who gets so worried and fearful on your trips that you can't even enjoy them? Well, I have some tips today to help you get beyond some of that fear and hopefully allow you to truly enjoy your next trip. So in general, when I'm asked about, being fearful, traveling alone, and wow, how does that feel? What concerns do I have? And in general, the advice I would give to anybody traveling alone is use common sense. Now, maybe common sense does not come easy to you, maybe because of how you were brought up, or maybe your life circumstances have, made you, in general, just weary of certain situations. That's explainable. That's acceptable. And I would definitely say that what you can practice, number one thing you can do to be able to enjoy your trip without so much fear and anxiety and feel like you're safe, is you want to be aware of your surroundings at all times. So what does that mean? It means not walking the streets in a new city, looking at your phone the whole time. Now, granted, sometimes we have to use it for directions, but I would say if that's the case, step aside, move into maybe a store where you could look at it without being bumped or, surrounded by other people that definitely will notice you as looking like you're lost, possibly, or looking like a tourist. So just being aware of your surroundings is number one. You want to have a keen awareness. You want to have your eyes open so that you can see what's happening around you and know if you need to go a different direction or take any other kind of precautions. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy the sights. Again, just being aware as you're looking at the sights, what's happening around you. So that'd be number one. And it does require, just some practice, but don't be paranoid is my biggest thing that I would say. Just don't be paranoid, but have an open mind and open eyes. The second thing is you want to stay or walk in populated places. You don't want to find yourself walking down an alley by yourself, obviously. And I've been in situations where I've just started exploring a city and started going down different roads. And then as I walked down one road, noticing it kind of looked like it was going to dead end, and there was no people down that road, and just didn't feel safe. So I turned around. So if that's the situation, that's certainly something you would want to do. So that you will feel safe as you're walking around. And if you're in a place where there's lots of people, then you're not going to feel like you might be a target, so to speak, as much. And along with that, they always say, try not to dress like a tourist either. I know that's a little hard for, I think, us Americans particularly, because, we tend to definitely look touristy when we travel. Most of us, we like our tennis shoes and leggings and that fanny packs, and those seem to really, scream American tourists, right? So just being aware how much you're broadcasting that you are a tourist and try to minimize that. In my upcoming trip for Paris, I'm really trying to work hard on, maybe changing what I'm wearing so that I don't look as touristy. Plus, you're going to Paris, and I do want to feel a little more trendy in that city because they are known as, like the fashion capital there. So I am rethinking that. I'm definitely not taking a fanny pack or I have one of those cross body. It looks like a fanny pack, but it goes across the body. It's a little bigger than a fanny pack. I am not taking that. So just some things. So stay and don't be alone. If you're followed by someone or you feel like you're being followed by someone, tip is you need to walk to, if it's close, obviously, a grocery store, a police station, maybe even a bus stop or some place where there's a lot of people congregating, hop into a retail store, just so you are not alone and that there are other people around you. Give you an example. So my friend and I were traveling Europe, and in Florence, we were being followed by a guy. And we did some things that we were trying to make him not want to follow us. But what ended up happening is we went to a bus stop. We got on the bus, but he also got on with us, so that could happen. And what we did was when it came to a bus stop, we did get off, and he got off with us. And then we had to act like we were crossing the street. It was a busy street too. And so we started across, and then he did too, but then we came back to that one side, and he was already across to the other side, and we went the opposite direction. So it was a little game that we played with him, but so it can be a little dicey. I was with somebody, but if you're alone, it can certainly make you a little fearful. But there are ways to definitely, or go up to somebody and just act like you know them. Of course, if you don't speak their language, that might be an issue. And just, maybe they'll play it off with you, or maybe they'll look at you funny. But finding, just somebody else to be around if you are being followed, changing course, maybe changing directions, just to make sure you get that person maybe off your trail. Number 3, I hear a lot of this, and again, this kind of goes back to the common sense, just mentality, all right? That women, when they've been traveling, will tell stories of how their purse got stolen off the back of their chair, whether they was in a cafe or in a restaurant. I would never do that. I don't even do that when I go sit down somewhere in the States to eat. I keep my purse, or if I have a backpack, particularly if I'm traveling and I have maybe a backpack or something of that sort, I keep it between my legs, where one foot's kind of in the loop. Or if I have a purse, I have it maybe on my lap as I'm eating. So just, again, using your common sense. You don't want to leave, of course, you don't want to leave your valuables unattended either. That includes, if you have to get up and go to the bathroom, this is an issue. If you are a solo traveler and you're going to a restaurant and you just need to go to the restroom, which is always me, because I just always have to go because I drink a lot of water, you can ask the waiter or waitress to make sure they hold your table and that you're just going to the restroom, but take your belongings with you, of course. Don't leave them on the table or on your bench or on your chair, okay? 4th thing is trust your gut. We as women have great intuition. And so often, if you get that little, whether it's the hairs stick up on the back of your neck, or you get that little funny feeling in your stomach about something or a situation, then trust that gut, and then just get yourself to a place where you feel safe, and get yourself out of there. The 5th thing I would suggest, and I like to consider this a tool, or your arsenal, so to speak, of ways to feel safe on your own accord, okay? And definitely I would recommend, before you go on a solo trip, and if fear is really holding you back and you feel like you kind of lack that confidence, take a self-defense class. And there's some that are specifically for women that you could go and take. Some could be just a weekend long. Some could be a couple weeks in a row, like maybe a 4-week course. I am just signed up myself for a self-defense class for next month, and I am looking forward to it because I feel it'll help build my confidence. And not that I tend to be fearful in that way, because there's a story that's often told when I gather with some of my college friends of a time when I actually prevented a kidnapping with a friend. We were out after being at I think it was a frat party, and coming home. And anyways, long story short, I had started carrying a butterfly knife with me and had gotten really good at how to use it, and had to use it to help prevent my friend from being dragged into a car by 2 gentlemen. So yes, there can be times when that happens, and it just kicks in, like the adrenaline kicks in, and for me, I just did what I knew was right, and to protect her. And a course like a self-defense course would be like equipping yourself with something like that, so you can feel more confident if something were ever to happen. And hopefully and prayerfully nothing will, as long as you use the other 4 tips that I gave you. Just using common sense, be aware of your surroundings, stay or walk in populated places, don't leave your purse or backpack where it can be snagged, and trust your gut and learn self-defense. So these are kind of more internal, and the self-defense is more of a actual physical tool that you can use, or to give yourself a peace of mind when you're traveling solo. Things that you can do mentally and even physically to help you build that confidence. So folks, that's part of this journey of traveling solo. And if you're new to that concept, these are things that you can do to build that confidence. I want you to build that confidence so that when you go to these trips, these wonderful bucket list trips that you want to go to, or you have already planned or desire to go, that you are not so fearful that you can't even enjoy your trip. So we want to get past that. We want to build that confidence, that foundation, so that when you go, that's not a worry. That it also, just being aware of your surroundings, for example, becomes second nature. Now, next week, I'm going to share some actual physical products that many women like to carry and to use for safety reasons. And again, these are recommended people that have traveled, that tend to be on that fearful side of making sure they're safe all the time. And again, I don't want you to get paranoid about that. So if you're building some solid mental preparations as well as some physical preparations, and getting that, feeling more comfortable with that idea and feeling safe. We all want to feel safe. Then you can certainly build that up and listen for next week. I'll have some actual physical products I'll recommend that you can carry with you on your next adventure. And as I have said before, if any of my listeners out there, if you have a story you want to share, maybe it was your first experience doing a solo trip and you want to share that, please reach out to me and leave a message on my SpeakPipe, which is in the show notes. And we'll get you on the show so you can inspire and encourage women just like yourself to get out there and take that leap, be fearless, book that trip, and go on an adventure. Hey, sister travelers, did this podcast inspire and encourage you or move you to get out there and travel? Wonderful. There are 3 ways you can thank me. First one is leave a written review for the show on Apple Podcast. 2, share the show with your sister travelers, your friends, your family. And 3, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And thank you again for listening to the show. Sisters, be fearless, take the leap, and get out there and have an adventure.